I really want to crush step two. And like, I think step one went fine. I'm happy I passed, but I did it on a really short timeline. Uh, and so I just want to start now. So that way when April rolls around, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. And to be honest, the name of the game when dealing with medicine is small bits over a prolonged period of time. That's really the best way that you can really digest and understand everything without cramming. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right, right.
So yeah, that's gonna be key. So today what I want to do is we'll go through questions like we usually do. Obviously it's gonna be a step two kind of format here. With MD Boost, we'll go through OB since that's what you're currently on. When's your shelf exam?
So it's on, so I think it's on July 3rd. So
Okay.
I thought it was June 28th, and right now I have all my U World questions and stuff to be done by the week before June 28th.
Okay.
But again, I mean, I'm getting a lot of incorrect. So once I go through everything, I'll probably go
Good.
through incorrect. So again, I think one thing would be kind of the strategies you taught kind of maybe refreshing if you apply that here. And then kind of how, and we'll learn this each week, but just kind of the different style with step two, because by the end of our sessions and doing a bunch of questions every day, you kind of get used to the style for step one, or like when you see certain styles. So I'm still learning for this one. So hopefully you kind of start helping me point stuff out. But I've been doing about 20, I just do 20 world questions a day and just
Sure.
trying to get used to the style, but like I'm trying to learn through it. So obviously I'm getting wrecked still. But I can see the data points. And so it's like week four, technically, week three or four. So clinic's going fine. I got through nights and labor and delivery. So now it's more clinic stuff. So I'll probably have a little more time to come home and hammer out some questions. So
Good, good man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's about consistency and I think I've told you this before, but it's not about, getting right or wrong, right? It's learning from the questions. That's really what it is. Learning the question strategies. The question strategy should be exactly the same actually as what you've already learned for step one. It's just getting used to the type of questions like the next step in management. That's going to be your next um, kind of question type, your harder questions on step two, I would say. Material and things like that. I mean, you still have to, think about your differential diagnosis and things like that. One thing that might help you with that, I'm not sure if you ever took a look at the differential diagnosis stuff. That's really, really helpful for step two on MD Boost if you ever have a chance to go through that. So definitely for sure.
differential diagnosis.
Yeah, it's
So
under the learn. If you take a look at the learn feature, so if you can kind of see if your diagnosis that you have trouble with is kind of located somewhere on there. Um, but yeah, and kind of go through that. But yeah, so for sure, I would say questions, questions, questions. That's really the name of the game for step two. If you want to do well, you just got to do a shit ton of questions, man. You might be asking, oh, what textbooks, things. There's not really a gold standard textbook. I would say that you do questions, you learn from the questions and the explanations, and if you have if you're like, oh, I'm kind of a little bit confused, that's usually when I say you can you pick one secondary resource. It could be Google, it can be MD Boost Assistant, it can be Step Up to Medicine textbook. Just pick something and kind of to quickly learn if that makes sense, right? So let's say you're like, oh, I missed a question on, I don't know, preeclampsia. Oh, what I forgot. What are the guidelines to diagnose preeclampsia? Okay, you can either Google that, you can look at the explanation, whatever it is, but there's not really like, oh, you should totally read a whole textbook. There's nothing like that for step two. It's just doing a bunch of questions.
what did you use?
I only did questions. I
Uh,
really
like like if you had to look something up,
Oh, I use Google. I mean, to
yeah.
be honest with you, that's all I did. I either use Google, so anything to kind of help you get the information quick and move forward. It's not, massive amount of reading or anything like that. There's no pathoma, there's no first aid. Those are always good if you have a very specific thing, like, oh, I totally forgot the mechanism of something. Yeah, sure, you can look it up there. But like I said, you're meant to do things very, very quickly, and it's more about clinical. You know what I'm trying to
So
say?
is first aid a thing? Like, do you go through that really or ever? Not really. Okay.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like I use mainly Google. I maybe sometimes like in a blue moon, I flip to a page. I remember like, oh yeah, like I totally forgot about, this biochem mechanism because of, for peds, right? You have to learn some of those syndromic things. So I would flip over to that page, read it real quick, and then put it away.
Okay.
But so that's what I'm saying. There's no consistent reading. It's about doing questions, doing. And of course, you're going to miss a lot of questions, but that's the whole point of the questions is for step two is that it's a resource for you to learn from. It's not, oh, how am I doing compared to, how like everyone's all in arms about like, oh, I want to get, a high percentage on my question bank for step one. It's not like that for step two. Who cares what your percentage is? It's
Yeah.
really, did you go through the question bank? Did you learn from the questions? Did you get the material from the questions? That's really what it is.
Yeah, my plan was to go through all UWorld and I do Anki and then supplement I'll use Google and then boards and beyond like if I really need to understand like a video and then if I finish all my UWorld to do like MD boost like and when I get through for more questions.
Yeah. So MD Boost questions are actually, ironically, I made them extraordinarily hard. The reason why I did that is because a lot of my students have issues with management questions. So the whole question bank is like practically management questions. So
Okay.
just so you know, so after you're done with kind of your U world, you've gone through that, and you're like, oh, I need next level questions. I need a little bit difficult, right, to kind of push myself. MD Boost questions and the step two bank is like all management questions. I think it's like 80% management questions, which obviously your test is not that difficult, right? That'd be kind of insanely hard. But yeah, that's how you practice management questions.